Colorado, their pastor, Reverend Nadia Bowles-Weber, says something like this: I'm going to disappoint you as a pastor. We're going to disappoint each other as a faith community. It's going to happen. We're human beings. We make mistakes. We step on each other's toes. And what I want to say to you is this: when that happens, if you take your toys and go home, if you run away, if you leave, then you never get to experience the gift of grace among us. When grace breaks in and we reconcile with each other and our relationship is restored. That's the kind of story that we're going to tell you today.
We're going to tell you a story that we have lived. Let us prepare our hearts and minds by being together in prayer. Holy God, open us up to hear your word this day. That hearing it, we might believe it. That believing it, we might love it. That loving it, we might live by it. That our lives might be whole. That our relationships might be reconciled. That our world might be healed. For your honor and your glory, we pray. Amen. All summer we've been talking about the 12 steps. Today we are in step number 8. I invite you to take out your bulletin and read with me step number 8, naming the harmed. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Leah and I are good friends, the best of friends, friends that are almost like sisters. But this isn't always the way it has been. We have not always been friends. No. Really, no. I'm telling you, no. We have not always been friends. Although we grew up in the same county, and our fathers taught in the same high school,
and our mothers went to college together.
My mom rode with her parents to college. We didn't like each other. No. Well, okay, first of all, I think that I should say Leah is a little different from everybody else that you've met. And she likes that.
And I have to tell you that in high school, I knew Angie from these youth events that we went to because we both went to UCC churches. I knew her from these youth events and from church camp. And I kind of thought that Angie was a lemming. I did. Like, she just wanted to be like everybody else. And I was like, yeah, who wants to be like everybody else?
I did. I wanted to be like everyone else and be liked.
And my parents were artists. I was raised to be weird, right?
I was raised to be normal. Right?
And I was like, normal is abnormal. And so even though we spent all of this time together at these youth events, we even traveled together in Germany.
3 weeks.
3 whole weeks.
No, didn't like each other.
No, not at all. Didn't spend any time with each other at all.
Unless we had to.
And then we did. But I thought she was just a follower.
And I thought she was weird.
So we weren't going to do it.
Until one day when we were in college, and all my life I had gone to church camp for 12 years, and I wanted a church camp friend that would live near me.
him going to church camp that whole time too. Same church camp, wanting a church camp friend to live right there where I lived. And then we looked at each other one day and went, oh!
We could be friends.
We could try to be friends. You could be that church camp friend that's right there where I live.
And we made a decision that we would be friends.
But we had to work on it because
I still wanted everybody to like me.
and I just still wanted to be weird. So we set these intentional dates all summer long.
We read the Bible.
We just got to know each other because we had these perceptions of each other that weren't really entirely accurate. And it worked. And so at the end of the summer,
we made a mixed tape to celebrate.
yes, all of you children of the 90s can be like, a mixtape. Yes.
Nothing says friendship like a mixed tape. And it was really amazing because not only was Leah a friend that lived near me that went to my church camp, but when I graduated from college and I got my dream job of going to work for Walt Disney World, Auntie Menke, you've just graduated from college. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World! All by myself. I asked Leah if she wanted to go with me to Disney World.
She asked once, and I said no. And then she asked a second time a couple of months later, and I still said no. And then when she asked the third time, I realized I had not really made plans for after graduation. And it seemed so sad to me that this new, wonderful best friend that I had would move so far away all by herself. And so I said, yes, I will move with you to Orlando, Florida, where Angie
Was an engineer.
and I became a professional face painter. So Angie would put on a suit every day to go to work, and I would come home with glitter all over my face.
We have pictures of this, my friends.
Yeah. That was fantastic. And those days in Florida were some of the best days of my life. There's a reason why Angie's sister Lisa calls me Angie's other sister. Because we spent these days in Florida playing together and praying together and trying to figure out what God was calling us to do. And we would curl up on the couch under quilts and drink wine and talk about the big questions in life.
Yes.
It was fantastic.
And Leah went to seminary, and I went to a different seminary. And God called both of us to be pastors.
And so here we are, both as pastors. So after we had both begun our calls, Angie in Beverly and me in Ballou Creek, Michigan, we decided one year that Angie needed to use her designated reading week to come to Ballou Creek with a bag full of books, and I would buy that same bag full of books. And then we would go off to this cabin up on the shore of Lake Michigan, and we would spend that week reading and talking, and again, talking about those big questions in life. So that's what we did.
That is what we did, and it was going to be so nourishing and life-giving. And I have to say, I needed that because I was in a really vulnerable, difficult time in my life. And I tell you, my friends, it ended so badly. The weekend went so badly.
So Angie was in this really, really vulnerable place in her life, and she shows up, and I'm expecting this friend, right? This friend who signs her letters shine. I'm expecting this shiny girl to show up, and instead it was like her light had been put out. And I was so worried about her, and I was so concerned.